are these people?
We have not talked about Luigi Mangione in a long time. And now I just made the algorithm go crazy. Either that or we're about to be totally suppressed. I don't know. But there's been some Luigi news. Now, before I, go to that story, let's get back to, now I talked to Rob Durden about Luigi, I don't know, 6 weeks ago or so on my one-on-one with him, INN co-founder Robert Durden. If you haven't seen him or watched that, go watch it. It was great. He's a doctor, and it was interesting to hear a doctor's perspective who's dealt with insurance, who's had to deal with, he's a chiropractor, all kinds of stuff. And he's also been very focused on Luigi and healthcare for years. He was a very big proponent of universal healthcare. So we've been saying from day one, for those who have not been watching, that it's a psyop. I don't believe, thank you, I don't believe that Luigi Mangione actually did the shooting. I think that he's been moved around a chessboard by a bunch of people, that the story has been used and exploited by many, and that they have butchered and botched so much of this story, which does not add up and does not compute. And now we're finding about how they have butchered the process in how they handled his arrest and everything subsequently, that this is absolutely going to be dismissed or set as a mistrial at some point. It's set up to be that. So what we have been seeing is not very much in the news media, but what you will notice is that once in a while, when they need to distract from a narrative, usually Israel murdering a bunch of children, they'll throw out a little Luigi red meat. All right. Because he sways a narrative and he gets a lot of people talking. The people on the right are still very upset that vigilante justice could happen. Everybody on the left has made this guy into a hero. And I wouldn't even say the Democrats have not turned him into, Democrats ain't left. The left has certainly turned him into a hero, although taking the law into your own hands is never good. Murdering another private citizen, never good. That guy, I understand. Except that.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bah, bah.
Sure. But he only, first of all, you had a gun that jammed. All right. You had him getting on the city bike. Well, all right. And then riding up to Central Park, the weird thing there, and then disappearing, but he didn't really disappear. There are so many inconsistencies in this story and how they mishandled. And then there's the perp walk where they treated him like Superman with the fucking legion of cops where they're transferring him between prisons.
Fucking ridiculous.
That was insane. Okay. Where there's just all of these little weird things. They tried to send him to Rikers Island, and I think that might be where he still is at this point. I don't even know. Then they put him in a cell with Diddy, I think, for a while, or Sam Bankman-Fried. He had a high-profile lawyer, and he shows up. Jelly. And he showed up to court the very first time, literally wearing the same outfit that Oswald wore when they walked him out. And he famously was shot. It was weird. The red sweater with the collar and everything. It was very creepy. All right. So I've had a lot of questions over this entire thing. And I feel like, and I talked about this, somebody, and I won't mention who, but somebody got this right. Almost. More than just about anyone. And didn't even realize it. When they mentioned a scenario between Luigi's family. Now, Luigi's family, we know, owns nursing homes, right? But they don't just own nursing homes. They also have gotten into home health care for seniors, which is a massive business.
Okay.
And apparently United Healthcare was negotiating or against, and they were bidding against another company for Luigi's family's company. There was a bidding war for their company, and it would certainly have helped that other company to have the CEO of United Healthcare taken out, to have their stock price drop by 25 or 30%, which ended up happening. A lot of things ended up happening that worked out pretty well for an organization, and I've mentioned them before. They're called the Carlyle Group, and one of the members used to be the Director of National Intelligence. Huh. You think he might have connections to be able to put something together like this? Yeah. So I have been a little quiet about that. I have been kind of waiting for the trial to happen and for something to happen. But now I start seeing a couple of drips and drabs happening throughout the media that I decided to bring something tonight and do a little Luigi story. So we got 4 things that I wanted to bring. First of them is really bad. This immediately should mean that the case is dismissed. Breaking news. Luigi Mangione's lawyer, Karen Agnifilio, stated yesterday, sorry if I butcher her name, but she stated yesterday, quote, "We were just informed by the state court prosecutors that they were eavesdropping on all of Mr. Mangione's calls. They were listening to his attorney calls and his other calls that are going on." Wait, what? Here's Luigi. There you go, brother.
Look at how they massacred my boy.
Like, wait. So that alone, you know, you've got attorney-client privilege as... Go ahead.
Were the calls coming from inside the house?
They might have been.
This is important things we need to know. This
is at the Luigi Case Files on Twitter. The Luigi Case. Independent account raising awareness. Now, again, how accurate are they? I don't know. But here's another one. And this was from, I think it was Thursday, 7:23 p.m. Latest motion states that patrolwoman who searched Luigi's backpack at McDonald's without a warrant, then she repacked the items and left the restaurant with the backpack, then had no body cam footage for the next 11 minutes during her drive to the precinct. Upon arriving at the precinct, she resumed the warrantless search and, quote, found a handgun in the front compartment, allegedly within a minute.
Oh, God.
Do we smell something rotten?
Don't fit. One must have quit.
Wait, where's Reef? Hold on. I made you disappear again.
I'm here. Hello.
There he is.
Why?
No, I made you disappear. I don't know.
Why you do this?
Because I messed up Stream Deck buttons, apparently. There he is. Hi, everybody. That's Reef. I'm Indy, for those who don't know. Emmanuel Goldstein, good to see you, man, over on Substack. These are all our good friends out there coming out and hanging and watching the show. So excited that we got to stream to Substack today. All right. So you've got Luigi. Number one, his calls are being listened in on. His privileged attorney-client calls are being listened in on. And now you've got the arresting officer mishandling his backpack, allegedly his backpack, without a warrant, then finding a gun after riding 11 minutes in her car without the body cam on. Sure. Okay.
Police, freeze!
Now, again, somebody went into the filing and looked in more detail and pulled off that patrolwoman Wasser left McDonald's at 10:04 p.m. There is no body-worn camera footage from her for the next 11 minutes as she drives to the precinct with the backpack. That's not suspicious at all. At 10:16 a.m., 1 minute after arriving at the precinct, she continued her warrantless search of the backpack. She then first reopened the same backpack compartment that she had started searching at McDonald's before immediately closing it and opening the front compartment of the backpack as if she was specifically looking for something, and instantly she found a handgun in the front compartment. Amazing.
Can you say backpack?
Amazing. So then, let's also not forget that this has become a lightning rod of a political thing where now the Attorney General of the United States has decided to get involved. She wants the death penalty. You've got to be shitting me.
Fucking wild.
Attorney General Pam Bondi has reportedly directed federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione if he's convicted of killing Brian Thompson later on when his trial happens, if it ever comes to fruition. They want to throw this kid.
Are you kidding me?
No, that is literally how I feel about this. What evidence do they have that it was him? That's a great question. Nobody wants to answer that question. All right. But what they want is to make an example out of this kid because they work for the ruling class. Don't forget. They want to make an example out of him because it scared the shit out of them that somebody could literally show up on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight and take out a CEO with nobody having any idea who it was and getting away scot-free. And the person who actually did it is going to get away scot-free, by the way. Likely did it on behalf of the Carlyle group.
You let one ant stand up to us, then
Allegedly.
they all might stand up.
I am speculating that it is likely the hitman was likely hired by the Carlyle Group to take out the CEO of a rival company for multiple reasons, financially.
Objection. Speculation.
It's absolutely speculation. I'm admitting speculation. It's not a trial. Not yet, at least.
Sir, come to the bench. I'll ask you to come to the bench.
So, why is Pam Bondi seeking the death penalty for, again, that's if he's convicted by a jury of his peers, which we know that he never will be, and they all know that he never will be. So what is this being done to do? Why are they doing this? Because they want to get their right-wing base all fired up and stoked up about potentially murdering this vigilante and seeing a vigilante being brought to justice.
Why?
Uh-huh.
Why?
Because remember, they're also copsuckers. So they back the blue, they love the blue, and heaven forbid somebody took the law
rarest
into their
form of chupacabra.
And God forbid somebody took the law into their own hands. Yes. If they took the law into their own hands and got away with it, well, that would be really bad, wouldn't it? I mean, to some, yes. To off the CEO of an insurance company that was denying the highest rate of claims in the industry that we now find was potentially now trying to buy out this guy's family business, which meant that they were all going to get over $100 million, by the way. So tell me what the incentive was exactly for him to ice this guy. He had a family member and something about insurance, and I know he had a thing with his back, and there's all kinds of stories and rumors about his past, about the way he spent 2024. As it turns out, he worked in the automotive industry. He worked for a digital company called Cars Direct. I know some people actually personally from my previous life that worked at Cars Direct. It's kind of funny that that's where that was the company that he worked for. And he was living in Hawaii. Then there were stories about him being in San Francisco during Q3 or Q4 of last year. And then his mother filed a missing persons report in November in San Francisco. Again, a lot of questions and weird timelines that don't add up when it comes to this kid. All right.
I said, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Maybe. So that is our take on Luigi and what's going on right now. And certainly you're not going to see us monetized by YouTube. By the way, we are demonetized by YouTube. That happened just after October 7th when we published a video that had a title that was a little bit too friendly to an organization that sounds a lot like hummus. And it was just the title of a video, but it was enough for them to give our channel a strike, say that we were supporting terrorism, and demonetize us. And here we are 20 months later, still demonetized. But these incredible people have still supported our organization and have supported our efforts here to support independent media. We do that by Cash App, $, Indie News Network, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network, that's INDIE, and INN Newsletter or IndieMediaToday.com. Either one of those over at the Substack. You can subscribe free, support for just a monthly or annual subscription there. That's pretty cool. That would be nice. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Support independent media because we need it more than ever. I love you all. Have a good night, everyone.
Keep listening to what little boats have to tell you. See you in a bit, fam.
Bye, Felicia.
No! We just fucking lost the stream!
Can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, I play civil when all these dead won't make you listen. What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, But I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.